Good evening, folks. It's Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Coming on real quick to discuss vote splitting, agendas, and unity. Good evening. This is Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Today is February 27, 2023. The day before petitions begin. I gotta get rid of this star stuff. That was just a joke. Good evening, folks. How you doing tonight? Happy Monday. Is today Monday? Yeah, happy Monday. I go all day, so all week, so I don't know sometimes. Happy Monday. Tonight, I wanted to just go over really quick vote splitting, right? Splitting the vote. Tomorrow petition season begins. That's when the candidates go out to get or begin to go out to get signatures so that they can get on the ballot, right? They want to get on the ballot. And so depending on what office you're running for, there's a required number of signatures you are to secure. And, and that's very sensitive in the way it's done. So you have to make sure your petition is right. The signatures are correct, and if not, you can have them tossed out. And many times a strategy of candidates, especially incumbents and those that are, part of the machine that's, in power now, will use that, as a strategy. Will challenge people's petitions in order to get them kicked off the ballot, right? So they'll actually have to go to court. And so people then have to defend themselves. So if you're a candidate and you're running for office and, cash is, you're just spending the cash that what you got and you spent it all. And now here you go, you have to raise more money or get more money to hire an attorney in order to defend you in court because they're challenging your petition. And that's done usually when they're concerned about a specific candidate. For example, like in 2021, when Carlos Burgos was challenged, had his signatures challenged by a former employee of John Rubo's, who he was running against. Yeah, he was concerned, and he had every right to, every reason to be concerned, I should say. He just won that race. Carlos Burgos ultimately remained on the ballot and went against John Rubo. And, John Rubo didn't blow him out. And Carlos Burgos was a political unknown, right? He didn't blow him out. And so that's what they do. But in that case, it was very strange because John Rubo, he basically had his ex-employee, right, or an employee of his at the time, challenged those votes. The guy was a freelance masseuse. That's what it said on his Facebook page. He worked for John Rubo over at the Yonkers Brewing Company. And so now this guy, for whatever reason, he just, wants to challenge Carlos Burgos' signatures. And so he's going to spend money to hire a law firm to challenge these signatures. But he didn't just hire any law firm. He hired Harris Beach. And if you've been watching the podcast, and you should be familiar with Harris Beach and how they're very connected with the city. They have contracts with the city. They represent Mike Spano, and they're going to be representing him in that lawsuit. Or they are in the Mike Cater lawsuit. John Rubo has used them also. I believe they represented him in his lawsuit when he had former employees suing him for unpaid wages, even though he received PPP loans, right? And he still didn't pay his employees. So, that was very strange. And if, common sense, you put two and two together, you'll see that it was obvious that John Rubo and his campaign had, got this gentleman to challenge his signatures, Carlos Burgos' signatures. They paid for the attorneys. They got Harris Beach. They even paid him, and you can see this in the expenditures. The campaign to elect John Rubo paid for a handwriting a handwriting expert, I should say. The guy charged $10,000, this handwriting expert, so they can challenge this. So they spent some money here, right? John Rubo and his campaign spent some money trying to get Carlos Burgos off the ballot, but it didn't work, and he almost lost. and he almost lost. And what's crazy is that they used a friend of theirs to clog up the working family or working whatever family party's line, so he wouldn't be able to get that in the general election. So he was taken out in the primary. So that's what they'll do, and so they'll find somebody, to challenge the signatures. Tasha Diaz's signatures were challenged by Michael Sabatino's husband, Robert Voorhees, back in 2019, I believe. So, I mean, this is how politics operates, how politics works here in the city of Yonkers. And that's sad because it's corrupt. It's a corrupt, it's a way of powerful individuals of keeping other folks from being elected, right? They want to control government. They want to control the council. They want to control, obviously, the mayor's office. They want to control the city clerk. They control the inspector general's office. And of course, controlling of all the departments, right, including our education. So, that's the problem we have here. And that's the problem we've had because of a third term, right? So when someone remains in office for this long and then continues to remain in office, they are able to establish, a stronghold on this government. And that's what they've pretty much worked on this entire 12 years, more so than anything else. And yeah, we've seen developments, but even that's more recent, right? That hasn't, that wasn't really going up like it is now until maybe the past 2 years. So, that's really all that's been accomplished by this administration, putting in people in place in the different departments so they can then control those departments and have a stronghold on the government, have a stronghold on the elections, right? So they have pretty much mapped this all out so that they cannot be taken out. And so you have to understand this as the voters, the people of the city of Yonkers, especially because I don't know anyone who says they would like to see Spano for another 4 years unless they got a connection to Spano, right? Unless they got a job because of a Spano, unless because they're cool with, that circle. That's it. Those are the only folks. That's it. And that was at the meetings for the term extension when they all came out, right? And they were all yelling, for Spano, 4 more years for Spano. So, but the real people here in the city of Yonkers, the people, the everyday people, they are tired of just the same administration. It isn't many times. It's not personal. It's not anything against Mike Spano. They just want new leadership, fresh, officials, fresh ideas, fresh perspectives. Things are not really that great. It's not like they could really say, "Oh my God, this is so amazing." I mean, look at our schools; they're so great, and our roads beautiful, nice and smooth. And finding an apartment here that we can afford that's very nice and doesn't have any health or safety hazards. It's so easy. It's very simple here. And the jobs, forget it. But that's not the case, right? And that has not been the case. And many of the things we were promised, like the jobs, right, they did not come. Like the improvements in the schools, that did not happen. And look how long it's taken to build one school. I can show you developments, right, or projects that have gone up or they started after they started the school on McLean that are pretty much finished. And where are we at over there on McLean? How's that school going? Remember, we need three. We need three of them. And the more time it takes, the more over budget it's going to go. That's how it is with construction. Time is money. And so why aren't they moving quicker? Are they going to ask for another, budget increase? I mean, how much is this school going to cost? I mean, it's already reaching $100 million. That's crazy for one school. That's unbelievable. So it's time for new leadership. And I want to talk about splitting the votes. What is splitting the votes? What does that mean? A lot of people have been talking about that, especially since I announced that I would be running or entering to run to get on the ballot, because first you have to get signatures. And the required signature for the office of mayor is 1,000 signatures. For city council, I believe it's 300, but don't quote me on that. But for mayor is 1,000, although you want to get more, right? Everyone says that you want to get at least 1,500. Some people say 2. Others have said, you should get 3,000, right? Everybody has a number, right? But the required number is 1,000. And if you can get that, if they're not challenged and they're not thrown out, then you will be able to get on the ballot for the primary in June. So it's very important that those who are supporting Freddy Vazquez that you reach out to me. Let me know when would be the best time and day, because I will come at that time. You can set it up, but I will be out there also, right? So I need the signatures. Everyone needs the signatures in order to get on the ballot. But here's the issue with that. People are saying, well, you're going to do is split the vote, Freddie. You're going to split the vote, and you're going to help the Spanos win. I was even asked that just not too long ago. I said, Freddie, are you helping the Spanos? And I said, yes, I am. They offered me $500,000, and I took it. That's it. I sold myself, right? I did like every other elected official. Why not? I want to win. But no, I'm not helping the Spanos. And listen, I understand what people are saying. And so splitting the vote, what they mean by that is if you have multiple candidates in the race, right? Let's say you have Margaret Coleman, myself, and Corazon Pineda, then you have Mike Spano. So if you have a certain percentage of the people, let's say 40% of the people like Spano, the other 60 people want someone different. But now you have that other 60% of the voters have 3 people to choose from. And so that will get divided among, let's say, the 3 of us, right? 20, 20, 20, and Spano gets 40. He wins. That's what they're anticipating to happen. And that could very well be the case. Unless we get the message out, which is very important. Because all it seems like to me is that people just want to beat Spano. But we shouldn't just want it to beat Spano. That should not be the goal. Right? People just wanted to beat what's his name? They didn't want another Democrat, I guess, so they got Trump in. I'm sorry, who forgot who was before? Oh, Hillary. People didn't want Hillary. I'm sorry, I totally forgot who. Right? They didn't want Hillary. People were tired of the Democrats at that point, so they voted for Trump. And then people regretted that decision. And then they didn't want Trump, and so they voted for Biden. And that was an even worse decision, some people say, right? So it's because we continue to vote for the wrong reasons. We have to vote for individuals for the right reasons, not because we just want to beat the incumbent, not because they're a Latino, not because they're Black, not because they're white, male, female, short, tall, right? But for reasons, the reasons that will make an impact and that will truly see a change in the city, a good change, a change that we have all been speaking about, right? All been complaining about, right? So we have to identify that person. And regardless if you like Margaret Coleman or you like Corazon or you like me, you have to pick the person that is most capable, that you have faith in, will go in there and do the job. So that's what you have to look at. Look at their track record. Corazon has had 12 years. You can look at her track record. There you go. She, out of all of us, should be the most easiest to assess because she has a track record. 12 years in politics, right? Reverend Margaret Coleman, I'm not too familiar with her, so I'm not going to say what she has done and hasn't done. I'm not, right? But I know she's an educator. I know she's involved in the community. Her husband is the head of the NAACP. Right? So that's what I know of Margaret Coleman. She has not been in politics, so she doesn't have that political track record. And then I don't either. I have not been in politics. However, in the past 2 years, I have been communicating via my podcast with as many people as possible, educating and bringing transparency to you folks, helping you understand government here, how it works, as I've learned myself. We've been learning together, and we've learned a lot. And we've learned more than they probably wanted us to know, right? But one thing I've learned is that there's a lot of corruption here in the city of Yonkers. There's reasons why we are not getting things that we need done. And it's not because the state is not funding us. It's not because I'm a council person and can't get anything done. It's because there is corruption. There is this little group of individuals that have taken government over, and they manipulate how it works. That is why we cannot get things that we want. That is why the housing ordinance was not passed. That is why you were given very little time and very little notice when it came to the term limit extension. You were given very little notice and very little time when it came to the new district maps. And many of you have given very little time and very little notice, if any, when it comes to these zoning changes that are occurring that are going to be impacting you. And by the time you find out, it's way too late. Sure, you can go there to City Hall, say what you want to say, voice your opposition, but it's done deal. That is why they sit there and they roll their eyes and they watch their phones and express via body language that they really are not interested in what you have to say. And that is not okay. And we have to change that. So I've been out there. I've been in the community. I care about our community. I care about our city. I have gotten things done. I'm not an elected official, but it's not difficult. You see something that's wrong, you figure out a way to get it done, get it solved, get it fixed, make it right. And I've done that many, many times already. I'm out there in the community giving back, trying to build relationships. And I have. I've reached out to people. People just have not reached back. Fine. Fine. So here I am, and I decided to enter the race because I did not see a capable candidate that I felt would be able to do the job that's necessary to make things right here in the city of Yonkers. And one of those things is to root out corruption. No one is talking about that. Any real candidate, it's a term they use, real candidate should be talking about the corruption. Unless we learn to just engage politics with the corruption, is that just a part of it now? Is that it is what it is? You just have to learn to maneuver through the corruption as best as possible. That's what some people say. You have to give this to get that. But what are you getting? I don't see you getting a whole lot. I see you doing a lot of giving, right? So you're making more compromises than you're getting, and that's not how it's going to work with me. We're going to get it. We're not going to compromise. You need a strong mayor, not just in the type of mayor system we have, but in the person that you have in office. And so, sure, the votes can be split if we choose to vote for the person we like, or maybe we may think is capable or going to do the best job, and Spano moves forward. Or we can really think long and hard about what it is that we really want to happen here. We have an opportunity to make real change, to create a real government that's for the people, by the people. That is why I am running. I don't want to be a politician. It's not my goal, but my goal is to change and reform the government. That's one thing you got right for sure, Yonkers Ledger. I am for government reform. And that means getting the corruption out. And then we can begin to move forward. There are many people that are scared. You shouldn't have to fear your government. You shouldn't have to fear speaking out. And so you just take it because many people are just scared. So they're not going to say nothing. People have true fear, and you shouldn't have to be in fear of your own government. That's not okay. You got my vote. Thank you. I need your signature first. Remember that. They are banking on the Hollywood on the Hudson slogan. That's not paying any dividends. Exactly. This is what I mean about a government, a mayor that cares about the city, cares about the people here. What are you getting from these developers? They're making lots of money, and they're adding luxury developments. That's what they're giving in return. How does that benefit the average person when the average person makes $35,000 a year? How? When 77% of our kids or I should say 75 to 77% of our kids in the Yonkers public schools are living at or below the poverty line, we're not doing something right. And about 77% or in that same percent range, the student body is Black and Hispanic. 63% Hispanic. Right? So what have our minority women, Democratic majority, done for our minority students? They should have had a huge emphasis because they play identity politics. Don't just play identity politics for vote, then focus on your people. And your people need a better educational system. But all of us do, not just any one color. I'm for all the people. And that is why I'm not talking about the fact that I'm Puerto Rican and I'm looking to be the first Hispanic mayor, because that's not the priority. It's not important to me. What's important to me is fixing up our city, improving our school district. That is huge to me. We have failed our kids. That's what we have done for the past 12 years, failed our kids. And I want to fix these roads because I'm getting sick and tired of driving on these bumpy, crappy roads and damaging my car. And I don't know about you, but it's costing me money. Water bill is high. The developers get to use free water. Just hook up to the fire hydrant, no meters. City's not going to pay that. They're going to pass that on to you, folks. That's why your water bill's so high. And what else is going up? Everything. Cost of living. Your rents are going up. Why? Because of the luxury developments. So people are being priced out. People are being encroached, overcrowded. It's just too many people. It's becoming a death trap, trying to get in and out of Yonkers. And so are we going to live like that for the next 10 years? Because that's the plan for them. Is that what you want, Yonkers? Or you want to say, hold up, we got to focus on these schools. We got to improve that. That's what we need to focus on. We got a lot of homeless people out in Getty Square. And it's impacting the businesses there. That's not fair to the local business owner, but they don't care because look at the skin color. AMS brought that up. They got a master plan. Freddy, you can't stop that master plan. No, I can't, but we can. And we need to. Hollywood and the Hudson, are you all part of Hollywood and the Hudson? I know I'm not a part of that. And no one asked me if I wanted to be a part of that. No one's saying, hey, this is going to benefit you in this way. They're going to take up all your parking spaces so they can film a movie, but they're not going to pay you. But you'll get a ticket. I got a ticket for being double parked because Con Edison and some construction crew were taking up spaces, and I had to meet a client in front of that building. Nowhere else to park. You know, so it's impacting us negatively. And so if we want to truly make change, then we have to get behind one person so we don't split the vote. Because we don't have to split the vote. We can vote for one person all the way through. Time for a new mayor. I know this city. I love this city. I'm from this city. My kids go to the schools here. My wife works in the schools here. I have a business here. I'm invested here. I'm not leaving. I want to see it better for all of us. I'm not Hollywood on the Hudson. I'm Freddy Vazquez from Yonkers. That's not what we're about. That's not how they're going to improve our city. It's not going to make it better. And just wait till MGM Casino and Hotel and concert venue gets here. Imagine what that's going to do for the traffic and what kind of deal will we get? How much money will they actually give us for our schools? Are they going to promise us something? We're going to be ecstatic. It's going to bring money for the schools. It's going to cause gambling addictions. And it's not going to bring any money to the schools because they didn't do so when they told us this last time. Since 2006, we've been getting 19, 20 mil from Casino Empire City. And what has that done? We still don't even have a real sports program. We're cheating our kids. We're cheating these kids. They have nothing. They go out there and then they get in trouble. And then they say, look, well, they're just criminals. They're thugs. Setting them up to fail with a crappy school system. And it's not the teachers. It's not the administrators. It's the way the district is ran. Let's put some real educators in positions of power, people that understand how to run a school district and not friends. We must get qualified people, not friends and family. And that's the problems here. So if you're not talking about that, then you're not right to be mayor of this city. And that's my opinion, and I'm going to believe that to the day I die. We need a real mayor, a real person that's concerned with the people here. Not the developers. They are not our priority. They haven't given us any jobs, no jobs for the people here. They don't care about us. They don't make us a priority. Yet we bend over backwards for them, moving fire stations and all. Enough is enough. And let's make the right decision this year. We've been making the same decision. Same circle of individuals getting recycled into positions that have done nothing year after year, only taking government or taxpayer money and putting in their pockets, enriching themselves. Have any of them done bad? How are they doing financially? Looks like they're continuing to progress right through the pandemic. Well, we had to shut our businesses down. Or we had to get fired because you didn't want to take a vaccine. Enough is enough. Let's vote for a real mayor. What makes them more capable? They have let us down. They have failed us. That's a fact. I haven't seen anybody working at the school on McLean for about 2 weeks. I pass that area 4 times a day. Yeah, and the contractors I hear are connected to Mayor Spano and Nick Spano. Why aren't there our local guys, 4, 5, 6, building that school? If I were in charge, they would be building the school, and it wouldn't be costing us $80 to $100 million. Maybe if they were working every day, it wouldn't be costing so much. Delays cost money in construction. Isn't that why you put salmon? You should be getting your permits, no problem. What's the problem here? How you doing, Bill? Odell. And no additional tax revenue for the city. Nothing. Nothing for the city. They're getting tax breaks. Tax breaks. They're not using our local contractors, our local union 456, but they're getting the tax breaks anyway. Those tax breaks are supposed to be given out because they are bringing jobs to people from Yonkers, or at least Westchester. But they're not even doing that. They're coming from Connecticut. They're bringing cement trucks and dump trucks from Jersey, lining them up on Central Avenue, creating a traffic hazard. I thought we were all about climate change. That's not helping the climate. That's not helping, the environment if you have these trucks coming from Jersey, spilling all that stuff as they go along the highway. I mean, think about this. Funny thing is, my rent went up and the excuse was the higher water bill for my city. Yeah. Why? Because the contractors are hooking up to the fire hydrants, using water in there for their developments. Certain things they have to spray water on it as they, doing things, and they don't have meters. So that means the city's having to pay. But the city's not going to absorb that cost, so they're going to pass it down to you. So that is why your water bill's higher. So congratulations, you are helping fund these developments in some form or fashion. You are by higher water bills. So you're contributing to their developments. Are they going to pay you for that? Probably not. Probably not. And so we need a mayor that's going to make sure that we fight for the people so we can benefit. We can benefit from the MGM casino. We can benefit from these developments going up. Anyone wants to do business in Yonkers, we, the people, need to benefit. Bottom line. Our local businesses need to benefit. They shouldn't be pushed out, new businesses being brought in when they were promised the business. Not these Starbucks that you're bringing in and all these other big chains when you have bougie brews there. Right? They don't care. They'll cut your ribbon and then allow for Chick-fil-A to come right in your backyard and Starbucks to be right next to you. Where do you think people are going to go? It's just going to happen. So splitting the vote. When most people think about the structural barriers inherent in our system, they think of gerrymandering, money in politics, single-member districts, and voting rights. All these are existing problems that create an unfair system that puts people of color at a permanent disadvantage. But there's another element that receives too little attention: vote splitting. In truth, under the current voting system, more candidates and more voting won't solve the problem with American democracy on their own. In fact, because of how we vote, more candidates can be part of the problem. And this is what people are talking about. Imagine a scenario where the majority of voters in a community share similar opinions, but in an election, this community is forced to make a single choice among 6 similar candidates. At the ballot box, the majority of voters split their support amongst these similar options. As a result, a 7th candidate who enjoys a solid support among a small portion of the community wins by default. In this scenario, the consensus preference of the community has been ignored because of how we vote. This is vote splitting, and it happens all over America. While often ignored, vote splitting is an issue that plagues American elections, particularly among urban centers with majority-minority populations, like Yonkers. In 2019, the Center for Election Science conducted some simple research looking at mayoral elections in America's 154 most populous city. Here's what we found. On average, 6.8 candidates run in each election. So we're not at 6 yet, are we? What are we, 4, 5? 55.6% of the votes go against the winning candidates. The majority of winners who fail to get 50% of the vote avoid a runoff. Each of these problems is worse in majority-minority cities. The average number of candidates is 7.3. It's like Mount Vernon. 56.9 of the votes go against the winning candidates. You see, vote splitting. Why does it matter? Elected officials without the support of the electorate to pass an agenda and positively impact their community, elected officials need the support of their voters. When extreme vote split happens, the winners are at a disadvantage and the will of the majority may not be represented. Right? And so I'm going to share this so you can take a look at it. I don't want to go through all of it. So yes, that's what some people are concerned about. So what do? We vote for Corazon Pineda Isaac. I just didn't feel confident that she could get it done. Again, we need a strong, capable candidate to replace Mike Spano. Not someone who has been a part of the problem for far too long. Saying one thing and doing another. Remember, we, the people, mentioned or brought up the fact that we were concerned with the term extension happening And no one spoke out. No one said anything. Corazon, who voted no, didn't say anything. She didn't voice any of the concerns that the people had. It wasn't until it was too late that she voted her opposition. But she said 4 years ago that she didn't like the fact that it was rushed. Well, it was rushed again. And the people were trying to make you aware of it. And we were ignored. Why? You can still make noise. You can still let the people know what's going on. Even if you feel like you're all alone as a council person, you still should do the right thing. You have to represent the people, and you have not. And so I cannot see a Corazon Pineda Isaac mayor here in the city of Yonkers. And it's not personal. It's not. It's about our city. And I love this city. And I don't like the changes that have been happening. I don't like all these tall buildings, and they're got so many more to go. 22 studios that they're going to build. How high are they going to go? They're at 40 stories now. We don't have the room in this city for all these developments and 22 movie studios. Where will they go? Think of all the traffic from movie studios, from MGM casinos and hotels and developments. How will this city look in 10 years? And so there's only one person that I feel confident that could go in there and make a difference, and that is me. So that is why I entered the race. And I hope you feel the same. Sleeping behind the wheel. Yeah, absolutely. Corazon voted against the third term, but ran for it anyway. So much for standards. Yeah. And their excuse is because they want to align themselves with the county, because the county had 3 terms. They did 12. So, we felt that the council should too. What sense does that make? I don't understand the logic in that. It's not like you guys can work together. It's not like you get things done together. I mean, look at Getty Square. No one's doing anything about the homeless people there. It's only getting worse. I know them. I see the same folks every day. I don't see you guys out there. That's a county issue, but it's affecting the city. So why don't you work together now that you got 3 terms together? But you can't. So what was the point of that? It's just all about having more time. That's it. And you got nothing done. Nothing. Affordable housing registry. Slumlord registry that's yet to really get passed. They're going to blame the administration for that. No housing ordinance. Nothing. No real plan to fix our infrastructure, our roads. We're not giving any information at all. I will bring a transparent government. I will speak to you just like this on a weekly basis to tell you, the voters, what's going on here in the city of Yonkers, to have you involved in our government. That is a government for the people, by the people. I will be in the community every day. That's my job. This is my city. Where are our elected officials? Where? You can spot them at a flag raising. You can spot them in some gala or fundraising event at Zupa's. But that's about it. Where are our elected officials? That's bold. The county has 2-year terms. The city has 4-year terms. They wanted to be alignment, but not with a 2-year term. Only the county executives serve 4-year terms. That's how it says something about they wanted to align. The third term was all about the pension. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. And I'm hearing also that the 4th term, because, there's different tiers to the pension, correct? correct, Joan? There are different tiers. So depending how long you are in there, right, or you stay, you're working for the city, you go to different tiers and you get more money. And someone was explaining that to me. And so, they were saying that some of the Spanos are on a certain tier that it would take people, to be at the age of 50, 60. Some of them who are, in their 40s have tier 4 pensions or something like that. So, they're just robbing us blind. It's about stealing tax money, pensions, enriching themselves, finishing their deals with the developers, seeing those things through, approving a few more that they got to approve so they can continue with this development. And then they can move on to the county. That's what it's all about. We need a candidate that doesn't owe anybody anything. Absolutely. No connection, no ties. I'm not beholden to anyone except for my wife. We need a real person and not a politician. You can count on my vote. Thank you. I appreciate you. I do. I hope we can get it done. After 10 years, you get free medical. You know how big the pension payout is every year? The city of Yonkers, our tax money has to go to this pension system. And I don't mind it. People worked hard. But there are many that also have abused it. They have allowed individuals to rack up overtime hours on their last 2 and 3 years just to maximize their pension. That is not okay. That hurts the city, and that is why our schools are in dilapidated conditions. As Shanae Williams from the county district, or I should say council district, once said, the roofs are falling down, falling on our kids' heads. There's mold, there's broken lockers, boarded up doors, asbestos. These buildings are over 100 years old, many of them. It's unbelievable. But that's why we don't have the money. Most of it goes to salary, pensions, raises, and all that, promotions. You got no-show jobs, people who have titles that did not earn them. But hey, that's so-and-so's wife, that's so-and-so's husband, that's so-and-so's cousin. Give them $150,000, $200,000 a year job. Somebody told me, I had a conversation with them, an elected official, when I mentioned this, they said, well, it does cost a lot of money to live in Westchester. Oh, yeah? Well, the average person in Yonkers is making it work with $35,000 a year. They can't make it work with 100? Because I was talking about the people who leave Yonkers. I said, a lot of employees get paid pretty, good. 150, 200, 250,000. And then you have people that leave. A lot of them leave. They take that tax money with them. And this person said, well, but it costs money to live in Yonkers. It's expensive down in Lower Westchester. I said, well, the average person makes it happen on $35,000 a year. So they can't make it happen on 150, on 200,000 a year here in Yonkers. We need people to stay. That's how we invest in our community and we better our community. That is how we beautify our community. That is how we become a community where people know each other. They don't look at you strange when you say hello, right? That's the type of community we need. No, I think the tier system affects mostly the age they may retire, but not the minimum required time. Of course, the more years you work, the more the pension, but everyone, but no matter what the tier has the same requirement for reaching 10-year period. Yeah. Either way, they're milking our tax money, right? The tier system is based on when you start. Yeah, somebody was explaining it to me. I'm not in the tier system. I'm not familiar with that. The tier system has nothing to do with meeting your 10 years. It mainly has to do with the age you're eligible to require. I've been tier 1, the first tier, and I was able to retire at age 55. I gotcha. What if you were on tier 5? I don't know. I don't want to get into all that, but the point is that they obviously are milking our taxpayer money. That's what it's all about. That is what it's all about. So if you don't want to split the vote, then Freddy Vazquez is the person you sign the petition for, and then you vote for in the primary. And then you will see what a government looks like when the government cares for the people, when a government wants to do the right thing for the people. Imagine that. Imagine that. Not be lied to and tricked like they did when they got everybody converted over to Sustainable Westchester. And they were told it was a better deal for you. That's why we did it without really notifying you, letting you know. We just changed you over, and then they just changed everybody back because they could not get a better deal. But John Rubel did an entire infomercial for Sustainable Westchester because that is who he represents. The money men, the people at the top who are simply here to enrich themselves off your hard-earned money, the tax money that they take from you. Remember, if you do not want to split the vote, and if you want a government for the people, by the people, then you vote for Freddy Vazquez. And we make the city better. I'm Freddy Vazquez, Basement Politics. I'm up out of here. Thank you, folks. I didn't want to be down this long. I appreciate you. I need your signature. It starts tomorrow. Petition season. I cannot get on the ballot until I get 1,000 signatures and good signatures that they won't challenge. And anyone want to challenge my signature, and you cause me problems, I'm gonna cause you problems. Just letting you know. All right? Don't let them pick you to come and challenge my signatures. Okay, because then I'm gonna cause you problems. You know, I got a whole podcast. All right, people watch it. All right. No, I'm serious, man. There's no problems. All right. So let me do my thing. We're here to make change here in the city of Yonkers. And I'm Freddy Vazquez. Again, thank you folks for watching. I appreciate you supporting. Yeah, better try. Yeah, there we go. See, we got to get 2,000. I know, 2,000. I was aiming for 3, Joan. Just you know what? 3,000, right? No, but realistically, I'm pushing for as many as I can get. The requirement is 1,000. I understand that you want to get more than 1,000. 1,500, 2,000, 3,000. We're going to go out there. We're going to get as many signatures as possible. We're going to go past the requirement. We're going to do everything we can to make sure that our signatures are legit and that it is difficult to challenge. So that way we don't have any issues. When we get the signatures, we can get on the ballot and we can rock and roll right through the primary. And it's time for change. We need new leadership. That leadership is Freddy Vazquez. Folks, I have a beautiful and blessed night. I will see you mañana. They will do their best to knock you off. Of course, they are. They've been trying their best to knock me off, period, since I've been doing this podcast. I'm still standing. I'm sure they're going to come with more. So I want folks to understand that they're going to create more lies. I'm not sure what other lies they will, post about me. But please understand that they do not want me on that ballot. I can guarantee you that. They do not want me on that ballot. Once I do get on the ballot, I am going to rock and roll. I have the financial support and the emotional, mental, spiritual support. I get on that ballot. Folks, I'm Freddy Vazquez. I'm up out of here. Thank you, folks. I appreciate you. I do. I love this city, man. We got to save it. Long. I am Freddy Vazquez. Vote me for mayor. But before you can, I need your signature. Please email me at info@freddyformayor.com. That's info@Freddy for the number 4. Freddy for the number 4 for mayor.com. Let me know when would be the best time. If you want to sign my petition, what would be the best day and time? I'll make it convenient for you. Excuse me, I need something to drink. So let me know. Just email me at info@freddyformayor.com. For the number 4, not FOR, but for the number. info@freddyformayor.com. And I'll come by. I'd love to speak with you guys. I want to hear your concerns because I am truly the guy that's going to try to address as many people's concerns as possible. No concern is too small or too big. And I'm going to go in there and get it done. We need a fighter for the people. No more sellouts. Again, email me at info@freddyformayor.com. You can check out the page, www.freddyformayor.com, the number 4. And let's go.
Freddy wins.
I was raised in housing. I don't think you were.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddy Vazquez.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddy Vazquez.
Thank you for watching Basement Politics with my husband, Freddy Vazquez.
Freddy